Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another exciting round, the final round of the ZRC GT3 Championship Season 1, Round 8. My name is Stephen Koenig, and joining me in the commentary box, going to be broadcasting our AM side, is Anushka Buerta. Anushka, welcome to Valencia. Very exciting circuit, and now the final round of the championship for Season 1. This is what we've been waiting for quite some time. We've now finally reached the finale, the time to go and crown a champion. What's your thoughts on this?
I think it's going to be a good race. It's close for the top, so there'll be some battles.
It's going to be an absolutely tremendous one. I do think we're standing on the precipice of drivers are going to have to push the boundaries here. They're going to have to feel what they can do. And Valencia is one of these circuits that is rather tricky. Turn 1, that Carver Aspral has led to many cars falling off the circuit and landing up into the weeds faster than you can blink an eye. Then into the sharp hairpin of turn 2, turn 3, carving your way down until you get to Carver Neto and make your way through Carver Afcon. As you head through Sector 2, heading into Sector 3, it's a long straight into Carver Champejeros, which is a quick right, then a long left-hander before you break into a very sharp hairpin into Carver Campos, down and then down the very long straight right here at Valencia. So lots of excitement, lots of buzz coming for tonight, and lots of drivers going to be sitting on the side going, what's next? How are they going to do this? How are they going to claw their way to the top? Well, we're only going to find out now. Let's take a look at the team championship, shall we? Let's start off with the AMs, because it's always interesting to see how close it is. Wilfred Robertson currently in first place on 245 points. Crystal's in second place on 232 points. Savasov is sitting on 228. So he's going to be looking to close down the distance as well. So keep a very, very close eye on that, as the drivers are going to be trying to push the boundaries of what they need to do. Hansi Myberg lying in fourth place. Anton Lammers in fifth. Sixth, Conrad Martins, followed by Anthony Wilson, Ruan Kleinans, Vietia Buerta, and Gunther Kruger, rounding out our field for our Pro-Am division in their championship fight. And looking at our pros, where the fight comes down to Carl de Witt in first place on 267 points, Kieran Patterson on 227, SES Days in third place, Johan Krobler in fourth, Darren Miller in fifth, Johan van der Merwe in sixth, Daniel de Villiers in seventh, eighth, Michael Schultz, Charles Darden, Ruan Cilliers in 10th position. Now, we do have a bit of a change-up going on here. We do have some live timing that's not only being brought into the mix, but we do have live stewarding that will be going out, brought to you by ZRC, trying out something new for the GT3 Championship for this evening, and might be going forward as well. But let's go. The championship points incredibly close in both of our classes. It's now come to the final time where the drivers are going to have to figure out what's going to work for them, how they're going to claw their way to victory. I mean, there's lots on the line here. Do you think in the AM side that Savov will be able to claw his way out of third place into second place, 228 points? Do you think Wilfred Robertson will be able to ultimately take the win for the season 1 for our Pro-Ams? What's your thoughts there on the top 3 between Wilfred Robertson, Crystals, and Sava Savov?
The guy that has the consistency might be able to take it through for this race. So if he doesn't let the pressure get to him, let the best man win.
Well, that's it. It's all the excitement coming to it. So, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head over to qualifying for both our Pro and Pro-Am. So take a look on the channel. Go and support our lovely Anushka Puerta. Once again, thank you very much for broadcasting. I'll chat to you after the race. I'm really looking forward to hearing your battles while I tell you about mine out in the Pro.
Okay, see you later.
See you later. Well, exciting times. It's come to this. Now it's time for qualifying as we head down to the circuit and our drivers making their way through. But I'm sure you're sick and tired of my voice, so let's include a little bit of the racing, the sounds, the sights, and everyone getting ready to rock and roll. So, we have got 14 cars joining us this evening for the final round of the championship, and what we're going to try and do tonight is give you the final of the points as well, so we can give you a firm grasp of who finishes out in which position. So keep that well in mind for the upcoming run. But as the drivers make their way through, they will need to try and dig deep of how they're going to claw their way to victory. And Kieran Patterson in second place in the championship, look to set charge. Ruben van der Race in second place, Daniel de Villiers, Sean Benham, Johan van der Merwe, Gerry Duplessis, Michael Schultz, Tiernas Puerta, Darren Miller also trying to make a move. Charles Don, Johan Krobler, Wesselwoode, and Mark Henneberry rounding out our field. Carl de Wit, who is currently leading the championship, now up into second place behind Kieran Patterson. All that he needs to do is just cross the line at the top of the order if he wants to go and beat out the likes of Kieran Patterson for the championship, which is no easy feat, rest assured on that one, ladies and gentlemen. So, while our drivers make their way around the circuit, the excitement starting to build, the tension is electrifying, and we'll have to see how it's all going to work out as our best lap bar seems to be giving a little bit of issues there. So Kieran Patterson putting in that 1:37 as his quickest lap time. And now Carl de Wit in second place. Alan Patterson saying, are we meant to see what's happening on the Pro feed? Yes, we were showing off a little bit of the circuit, giving a bit of insight, and now moving on to the race at hand. It's good to see you, Alan, putting in the support for the PWSR team that is looking to fight it out for the championship. Johan van der Merwe putting himself into second place is looking to step up his game for the ZRC team. And Sean Benham as well trying to gain a little bit of time right here at Valencia for round 8 of the championship. Benham has been on a proper charge to claw his way through, but does move out of the way to allow one of the Project Vapor drivers to get by, and that would have been Charles Darden that came by. So Charles Darden hoping to get a little bit more of a drive on his side. Johan Krobler also in the fight for the top order of it. It's not going to be an easy run for him, so we'll have to keep a very close eye on the racing as it goes. Quickest lap time though set by Kieran, that 1:30.5 ahead of Johan van der Merwe's 1:30.7, and Carl de Wit with 1:30.9 as his quickest lap time. Ran for the race with a 1:31.2, and Daniel de Villiers also a little bit further down, the 1:31.260. So trying to get ahead of fellow teammate Darren Miller with a 1:31.595. So a couple of drivers hoping to get a bit more of a run. The PWSR team coming out in force. If they can keep Kieran Patterson up at the top of the charts and move likes of Carl de Wit down the charts, that may actually influence the championship rather well. So we'll have to keep a very close eye on the action there, as Kieran Patterson currently stands second in the championship with all to gain if he comes in first place and if Carl de Witt lands up with a few problems at hand. But if Carl finishes in a comfortable position, well, that does throw down the order and put him into second place. So there's lots on his plate tonight for Carl de Witt, who needs to really stand on the charge and ensure that he can stand on top of the running order. Not going to be an easy fight, especially with everyone looking at him saying, right, buddy, the only way you're going to win this is with a monumental fight. Daniel de Villiers puts himself into third place, so he is already starting to line himself up. Can't take away, though, he is fighting for a championship of his own as well, because Daniel de Villiers is lying 7th in the championship and needing to just get that little bit more momentum underneath him to move up through the order. So he's hoping that by just a little bit of drive at the moment will get him into the correct spacing. Kieran Patterson and Johan van der Merwe duking out in times. Time's starting to come down between them, with the likes of Johan van der Merwe trying to get that 130.7 at this point to get a little bit more drive, and hoping that it will be enough. Tianus Buerta also out on the circuit with the McLaren, looking to try and improve. He's had a bit of a rough season this time around, and it hasn't been a very forgiving one for him, so he's hoping that he can keep it all in order and ensure that he stands on top of the charts as well. So not going to be an easy run for him as they fight their way through the orders. Charles Darden also a little bit further down. Keep an eye out on Charles Darden. Very strong around the circuit. He's actually doesn't like to say that he's got the pace around the circuit, but history dictates that he's happy with it, keeping it all in order. And he's one to keep a very, very close eye on. Carl de Witt putting himself into first place ahead of Kieran Patterson. So quick jump up of the running between them with an outright charge. Our championship lead still not set in stone. Anything can happen in the world of motorsport. It is a monumental victory if you can get the jump on the rest of the field. So let's see how that is going to work out. Right here at the ZRC GT3 Championship, round 8. The final round of the very first season of the ZRC Championship. I gotta say, it's been an absolute honor to go and see the drivers really go and put in a monumental fight to ensure that they stand on the top and really give it their absolute all. This has just been a very, very enjoyable season to see the drivers really pushing themselves that extra mile in hopes that they can get themselves to a victory. And with all on the line, it is going to be a monumental effort for our drivers, hoping that tonight will be their night. Lots of support coming in for the PWSR team from Alan Patterson, and also the biggest and the baddest best coming in and saying how's it as well. Good to have you guys out here on the grandstands for our Pro division and also in our AM division. Good to have you guys showing some support and being a part of the festivities. It's always grand to see what everyone is thinking, get some insights into what's happening in the pits, who will be able to move their way up through the order, who will be able to stand on top of it all. And hopefully by the end of tonight we will give you the championship running, who won what for this very first season. And ultimately that's the main thing we want to be aiming on. Charles Darden hoping to get a little bit more pace out of his car, not having an easy run at this point, and will need to dig deep if he wants to try and move his way up through the order. He's 9th in the championship. He's got to beat Michael Schultz and Daniel de Villiers if he wishes to claw his way up. He's on 145 points, while everyone ahead of him is on 156 and 166. So the better his climb is throughout this race, it's going to be the mainstay on it all. So Miller hoping he will have enough as well, lying in 5th place. But this is Johan Krobler, also known as Bago Krobler, hoping that he will have enough to take it down to the wire. And will it be the correct time for him? Mark Hanbury, the only Bentley in the race in the season, and has gone and really shown off what that car can do throughout its racing time, racing all over in different series. And it's really exciting to see taking on something a little bit different to what we usually see out on the circuits. But Valencia, a very, very difficult circuit that tests the drivers in standing at the top of the charts. A circuit that originally was built for MotoGP, that ultimately got involved in the world of GT and sports car racing. Gotta say, love the circuit in that. Very technical, but also does provide a sense of trying to keep it together becomes difficult, where you've got to ensure just enough rotation, you've got to have enough downforce to get you in and out through the corners. But if you don't have the drive, if you cannot pull yourself out of the brink and have low downforce to get the drive in and out of the corners, it leaves you sunk quicker than you can blink. So that's one thing that the drivers need to bear in mind for their race, and that does change into the setups of what every single one of the drivers are looking to do this evening. So our drivers trying to give it that extra little bit with 1 minute 44 to go. It is still Cardivit in first place, Kieran Patterson in second place. He is on a very quick lap at the moment, so Kieran is hoping that it will be enough to put himself into first place. He doesn't want to start on the outside heading into turn 1, and maybe, just maybe, this lap time, he's 0.2 up on the rest of the field. Will it be enough to claw his way to the top? He's got literally 2 more runs at this once he crosses the line, and hopefully this will be enough. He hasn't gotten off track, so it may be just enough as he comes across the line, puts himself into first place. Caldevit still in the pits. Will Johan van der Merwe, though, be able to break that fight? He is up on his lap time. Johan Krobler is also trying to make his way up through the order, and hoping that it will be enough to take on the fight. So Johan Krobler 0.2 up, and I see SES is just joining lastminute.com. Now, he did fly up to Joburg over the course of the weekend and got to meet up with some of the drivers that he's actually never met in person, which was always great to see. He won't be able to get a lap in. So Kieran Patterson still improving his lap time. He's going to give it one more shot, hoping that it will be enough. Getting on the power a little bit early, trying to make his way around the circuit to get just that little bit more time. A 1:30.2 to beat. Caldevit is going to have to be content with that second place. Qualifying is over and done with. Johan van der Merwe will be starting in third place unless Daniel de Villiers has something to say about it, and he's going to give it his absolute best to ensure that he's going to claw his way up through the order. Going to be a monumental run for him if he wishes to put himself up into that top 3 and provide a bit of support for fellow teammate, and also to ensure that his race goes without a hitch. Tianis Burta also coming across the line. He will be starting in 9th position. Sean Bingham also trying to gain that little bit of time. He's 0.2 up on his previous lap time. Will it be enough for our drivers as they fight their way through? This is going to be a monumental run for them all. Daniel de Villiers 0.1 up on his last lap time. Will it be enough? One more step. Just need to climb that ladder a little bit higher. Getting the power down. This may be enough to jump him into third place. And does so right at the last. Gets himself into third place. Daniel de Villiers getting ahead of Johan van der Merwe. So while our drivers get ready, they will be heading down to the circuit. Once again, we take a look at Valencia. Beautiful, beautiful circuit that is going to challenge our drivers this evening. And it's make it or break it for everyone out here. So, ultimately, this is all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. The pressure coming into play. Let's head down to the track and take a look at where everyone's going to be. So, Kieran Patterson looking to take the charge and looking to take the win this evening, with Calderwood in second place. Will try his best at this point, hoping that it will be enough. Third, Daniel de Villiers, followed by Johan van der Merwe in fourth place. Sean Bingham in fifth place. Ruan van der Race in sixth. Johan Grobler, Darren Miller, Tianus Buerta, Charles Darden, Clary Duplessis, Michael Schultz, Mark Henry, Wessel Roder, and SESAs rounding out our field. This is going to be a proper run. Alan actually giving a bit of insight, going and saying, have you noticed the small bodywork changes on the PWSR Porsches, specifically the front air intake and the rear diffuser? I see a little bit of luminescence coming in on the front, but we'll take a look at that because I really want to see that on the Porsches. You got me curious now. You got me very curious. Part of the design philosophy to be one ahead of the pack. It only needs 1 point, as we've proven. You only need 1 point to stand on the top. So, good shot there. The biggest man is saying top 8 within a second. We're in for a good race here. Good luck all. That is no question. We're in for a monumental fight amongst our drivers as we take a look at Wessel Roder and SESAs. But it is time to go racing, ladies and gentlemen. And out here, it is all or nothing for Kieran Patterson and Carl de Witt, looking to take the run. First and second, short formation, final race of the season. And it is go time. We're waiting for Tim. We're waiting for Jim. Lights on here at Valencia. 55 minutes, 1 mandatory pit stop, and away we go. Kieran off to a cracker of a start, ahead of Carl de Witt, trying to run him out a little bit wide. Daniel de Villiers getting right into the toe to go and defend against Carl de Witt. Does run him out wide. Kieran Patterson also running wide. Those tyres absolutely frigid as it's side-by-side battle for second place. Then you've got Johan van der Merwe, who's just keeping a close eye on the action at the moment as they make their way through. Carl de Witt right onto the back of our friendly little Porsche of Daniel, the Hitman de Villiers, as he tries to make his way through. Johan van der Merwe feeling the pressure from Benham right behind, and it does look like Grobler is dealing with Darren Miller, who's giving it everything he's got. So maybe just going and adding a little bit of a touch of a new design on the philosophy may be enough to carve their way through. Mark Henry also getting past the likes of Charles Darden in a straight line. So the big Bentley making his way through the order. And we just hear the words from Jim saying pit window is now open, so our drivers can get in and out of the pits if need be. So it is game time, strategy time. If you want anyone that's going to be working out the order, well, we're going to be taking a look at it. Daniel de Villiers keeping the pressure to hold Carl de Witt at bay. Carl needing to try and get past as quick as possible. Going to rather keep in train. Johan van der Merwe, though, does close up on him as well. Sean Ben runs out a little bit wide there, and Grobler immediately getting into the toe, trying to pull himself along. Does look like Ruan van der Race as trying to close his way through. SESA is pulling into the pits early on, and it does look like Wessel Roder going to be doing the exact same tactic as they make their way through. Side by side for second place, de Villiers locking down that inside line. Carl de Witt trying to go around the outside, does lose out a bit of time, and that has allowed the likes of Johan van der Merwe to immediately get onto the back of him. Johan van der Merwe is going to try go for the inside, too far back though, and does lose out the drive. He compromised himself and dropped a little bit down, but it looks like de Villiers seems to have a bit more in the corners compared to the likes of the McLaren. Hasn't got the straight line, and that's what we talked about. Whether you're going for low downforce or high downforce, what's going to work for you? Our mid-engine's putting in a monstrous fight, but we cannot count out Grobler. who is also in the fight as well, who's hoping to move his way up into the top positions. Calderwood, though, going and trying to maneuver his way past. Will be trying to figure out what's going to work for him. But as the point standing goes at the moment, Kieran Patterson will be finishing up on 277, so he's holding it back. Cole needs to drop back a little bit further to out of the points, because he's going to finish up on 305 if he maintains his position. So he will still hold that first place unless the grid swallows him up. And it looks like Johan Krobler pulling into the pits. Vessel Wooder getting a little bit of work done on his car. And Darren Miller going and battling out with Benham. So a couple of changes coming into play here. De Villiers out on a charge, holding the second place and hoping that it will be enough for him as they make their way through. Miller will be looking to try and close down on De Villiers. De Villiers will move up into 7th position if he can hold his championship standings right here. If he can hold 2nd place, he will finish into the top 10 of the championship. So Calderwood keeping the pressure on. Johan van der Merwe now getting into the fray of things. Sean Benham is also there in the mix as well. But Kieran Patterson checking out of this early on and trying to pull away from the field. He wants to get in and out of this fight as quick as possible. And now this is where you're going to start asking the strategy. Who's going to pull in the pits first? We've seen 3 cars, Johan Krobler, SESAs and Vessel Wooder, going and pulling into the pits to get themselves sorted. Will it be the rest of the field going for an early pit stop, or they're going to run it out as long as they can at this rate, hoping that it will claw their way through to victory? So anything can happen for our drivers who are trying to maintain a positive run at this point. Right onto the back. De Villiers holding back Calderwood, under braking into turn 1. Does run out a little bit wide. That allows the McLaren to get a little bit more drive. But it does look like Calderwood trying to go around the outside once again. Trying to go for a cutback, but just can't get the power planted down enough to get ahead of De Villiers, who is on a great defense at the moment to hold back Calderwood. So Cole needs to try and think maybe a little bit of a strategy here. Save on the tires, because he is abusing those tires right and royally at this point of the race. And it's a bit early on to try and keep it. So he needs to try dial it back maybe. Think about a better strategy, maybe come back. Michael Schultz with a stop-go 30-second penalty. And we did talk about our live stewarding coming into play. And that will be part and parcel of it. Our live stewarding now implemented. Michael Schultz, unfortunately, getting a hit of that stop-go 30-second penalty. And will be, I'm sure, not quite happy with that result. And unfortunately, we'll have to serve that in the pit stop. Side by side they go once again. Cole trying to look on the inside and just couldn't get the power down enough to hold a victory charge. But now down on the straights, got a lot more drive, and that's going to help his way up through the order. And Kerry Duplessis does look like he is... Sorry, that's Rian for the race that's pulling into the pits and getting himself sorted out. Van der Merwe and Benham also close to one another. Mark Hanbury going side by side. He's going next to Kerry Duplessis. A big Bentley, currently in 9th place, going on the defense of Tiernas Buerta, who tried coming back at him. And you can see the big Bentley going and showing a little bit of elbows there. Mark Hanbury currently 16th in the championship and is giving it a right and royal fight at the moment in the big Bentley. Gotta say, absolute props to him on that fight and on the charge as he calls his way through the order. Tiernas Buerta now needing to dial it back and figure out what's going to work for him. Michael Schultz a little bit further back in 11th position. Will be thinking, what's next? Still, our nose-tail racing is Daniel De Villiers, Calderwood, Johan van der Merwe, Sean Benham, and Mark Hanbury and Tiernas Buerta. But we're going to show a bit of Benham at the moment because he has closed up on van der Merwe and is looking to try and look for the inside line. Couldn't get it all sorted out just as yet. will have to dial it back a little bit and figure out what's the next part of the race. How is he going to do this? Strategy will be the ultimate key for everyone in this race. Who will be able to claw their way to victory? Well, we're going to find out after 47 minutes of racing, and with the new implementation of our live stewarding coming into play, that will change things up for our drivers. And a big shout out that's going out to that, because it's never an easy thing to have live stewarding. But ZRC going and trying out something new, make themselves a little bit more out in the world and ensure that they can take the fight to some of the top running and bring top motorsport to everyone. So good to see trying out something a little bit new, something a little bit fresh. Close racing though. Calderwood now has got Johan van der Merwe onto the back of him as he gives the chase to Daniel de Villiers at the moment. The two of them going door to door as they carve their way through the order. Not going to be an easy one here, fighting it out and really trying to sink their teeth in. Does look like de Villiers getting a little bit squirmy on the throttle. Does lose out that little bit of drive. Don't want to be going and battling with it too much at the moment. He needs to try and keep it all together, but how much flack is that Porsche taking on its tires throughout this race? Because it's not going to be an easy run for him, because he's constantly going on the defense, but that is allowing his partner Kieran Patterson to pull away, who's putting in some spectacular times. They're immediately getting into the 130.6. Did back off on that last lap doing a 131.1, but I think that's a little bit of fuel saving coming into play here, just hoping that it will be enough to get themselves into a little bit more of an easier standpoint through the race. So our drivers hoping that it will be enough as they make their way through. SES though down, that's lying in 13th position, is third in the championship, and as it stands he really needs to dig deep to try and move forward, which is not going to be an ideal situation for him. So Essie jumping, trying to get it going, and looks like ran into a bit of technical difficulties there, and that might have been him out of the race. That might be SES out of the race due to technical difficulties, and will cost him a championship run. So this has just changed the entire ball game for our drivers, as SES has run into a bit of technical difficulties. Oh my heavens. We're in for a charge here, ladies and gentlemen. It's not going to be an easy one. It's not going to be a pretty one. Our drivers having to figure out what's going to work for them in this monumental fight through the order. But as you see, side by side once again, Calderwood trying to go around the outside, and that's just costing him time, and Johan van der Merwe a bit of time in the process. So ultimately not ideal for both drivers, and I think a bit of a conversation will be starting to kick up as Calderwood now getting pressed right into van der Merwe's nose. He has to try and figure out what's going to be a bit of a passing maneuver at this point. How is he going to get out of this fight? All our drivers needing to get that one step further, try and push themselves that little bit higher up the order. And ultimately not going to be an easy run for anyone at this point. So Calderwood still trying to keep enough pressure onto the back of Daniel de Villiers, hoping that it will be enough to claw his way to victory, hoping that he can move his way back up through the order. But ultimately you don't want to be losing down so much drive in this fight. He's got to figure out what's going to work for him. Side by side they go into turn 1. Once again, Koldovit, though, does look like he's gotten past without too much of an issue, and that does set up Johan van der Merwe to go for the pass as well. Slight little bit of contact between the two of them, but De Villiers able to keep it all together, loses out that little bit of drive, and it drops down. So now we're in for a monstrous fight between it. Johan van der Merwe, though, a little bit further back, is, sorry, that's Johan Krobler, who is trying to fight his way up through the order. Needs to also keep an eye on the battle at hand, because this will influence his championship as they maneuver their way around. So not going to be an easy run for him, and our drivers need to dig deep on this one. What's going to work out as they claw their way through into position? Everyone needing to figure out how they are going to move up into the fray of things. What's going to be the ultimate charge? How are they going to lead into victory, with Kieran Patterson currently leading the charts? Second place is Koldovit, followed by Johan van der Merwe. Daniel De Villiers coming back into the fray. Sean Burnham, Darren Miller in 6th. 7th is Charles Darden, Kerry Duplessis, Tinus Buerta, Mark Henneberry, Michael Schultz, Johan Krobler, SES Run for the Race, and Vessel Roda rounding out our field at the moment. But so far, 4 cars have done their mandatory pit stops, and that is going to change up how the game is played for our drivers, who are looking to stand on top of the charts at the moment. Van der Merwe feeling the pressure from the likes of Daniel De Villiers right behind him, constantly hounding, hoping that maybe, just maybe, he can break the armor just a little bit to claw his way into victory. And then you got Johan van der Merwe, who is in a fight for 3rd place, and he is currently lying 6th in the championship, where Daniel De Villiers is running 7th in the championship. So it is a championship fight between these two cars that we see currently on circuit. Everything to play for them, and ultimately it comes down to the running order of who's going to be able to claw their way to victory as they move their way around. So Daniel needs to dig deep in hopes that it is going to be enough of a pace, but strategies will play the ultimate goal around here at Valencia. We do know this is a bit of a follow leader circuit, and we're going to see how it all works. Biggest matter saying roads, where we're going, we don't need roads. Hashtag PWSR, and we're going back to the future on this one. And Jake Melham saying, yes, this is what we want to see. Kieran Patterson, though, leading out the charge. I just want to point out, has put an 11.7 second gap over Koldovit at this point. I mean, that is huge for anyone that doesn't know how a race can turn on its head. That is a monumental gap. 11.7 seconds, now up to 12 seconds in that fight. Is just a proper run, and actually giving a bit of insight onto the work going in. See, the wingtips have changed a little bit, giving a bit of insight there. Purposely blacked out the front of the air intake and the rear diffuser, making the paintwork look different on the Porsches. Okay, right, so let's actually get a little bit of a closer shot to that, because we need to just show it off a bit. So what he's done is he's blacked out in front of the air intake, which is at the front of the car. Just blacked it out purposely to just give it a bit of a unique look, also modernizing the look as well. And that allows it, well, in the real world terms, it's going to make the car a little bit slicker, makes it work, and also get a little bit more pace out of it. And utilizing that same styling with the likes of artwork, it does bring a bit of real world into the virtual world. I love to see it, really love to see it, going and changing out a bit of the artwork there. And even if we go onto a chase cam, we'll see a bit of work as well coming into play. Really, really well done. got to take my hat off to a very clever thinking coming into play from likes of Alan Patterson, the BWSR. And guys are asking for the current standings. Don't worry, guys, we'll sort you out on that one quite shortly for everyone to see it. So we'll give a bit of a share for everyone to see what's happening out there in the world on Google Sheets. But at the moment, Kieran Patterson leading out the charge of things, but Koldovit, as it stands, will be holding the victory in the long-term standings. So we'll try and get those live standings out to you guys as fast as possible. But you can also find it lying in the Discord itself, out in the results and standings, where it does get shown. I see Michael Schultz has completed his pit stop and also his 32nd time. So our top 8 still needing to do a pit stop, still needing to make their way around into the pits, and that is going to change the ball game for all our drivers who's thinking the long-term strategy here, what's going to work for them, how they're going to move through the order, what's going to be the ultimate goal by the end of it. And like for Mr. Van der Merwe here, who's got pressure from Daniel de Villiers, who is on a monstrous charge, trying to ensure his way to victory. So Daniel de Villiers not going to back down from the fight, and will need to carry as much pace into it as possible. So we're down into a little bit of a slow point for our drivers, and what this does is allow the strategies to come into play. Who's going to guard their tires just that little bit more as they work their way through, trying to figure out what's going to work for them. Who's going to be able to stand on top of the fight as they maneuver their way around. Daniel de Villiers using out that little bit of drive once again, just doesn't seem to have the same drive he's had this morning earlier on. So maybe the tires taking a fair amount of abuse, now dropping him down the fight a little bit, and we'll have to figure out what's going to work for him. How is he going to be able to claw his way back into the fight and ensure that he can get into a monumental battle once again? Not going to be an easy thing to do, as I think the tires are starting to hit that drop off. Now, I do talk about when tires get into a bit of a gummy state where they've got grip but they do slide around a fair chunk as well, and that does land up with our cars sliding around a little bit more than planned, and we'll have to try and figure out how to combat that by changing their traction control, their TC, and moving forward. Sean Bennett also keeping within the battle as it stands, but Charles Dodden making up some time on the likes of Johan Krubler, also one of our close battles out on circuit. Kerry Duplessis under a second behind Darren Thriller Miller at the moment, so he is trying to claw his way up. Kerry hoping that the little bit more drive is going to take his way up through the order, as he lies 13th in the championship, and hoping that he will be able to get a little bit more of a run. So Ferry needs to ensure that he can keep up the pace, while Thriller Miller ahead of him is in the running for the championship, so he needs to try and catch up to Darren Miller, who's lying 5th in the championship. Honestly, this is a game of wits at the moment for all the drivers, hoping to stand on top of the running order as it stands. As catches up onto the back of Miller. Darren Miller in number 7 car. Looking to get back into the fray of things. Trying to close up on that championship. Waiting, begging, hoping for the opportunity to put himself on the top of the charts. And he's currently getting pressurized from Perry Duplessis, who is lying down in 7th position. This is a battle for 6th and 7th, but it also does give us a bit of an idea of when the pit stop strategies are going to come into play for the drivers as it stands. Perry Duplessis needing to get a little bit more pace underneath him if he wishes to open up the distance in terms of the pit stops to the likes of Tianis Burto, who's 5 seconds behind. A pit stop, though, does actually land up with our drivers a bit further down the order. And that goes 28.9, 29 seconds roughly for a pit stop. That was actually set by Johan Krobler, who got the fastest of pit stops. But let's take a look at who gained, who lost so far. Kieran Patterson out in 1st place with Caldervit in 2nd place. Johan van der Merwe in 3rd, Daniel de Villiers in 4th. Sean Binham is in 5th place, Darren Miller in 6th, 7th, Kerry Duplessis. Tianis Burto immediately behind him, Johan Krobler in 9th position, 10th, Charles Don, SES Days, Rian for the race, Mark Henneberry and Vessel Woda as they make their way through. Biggest loser at the moment is, unfortunately, Rian for the race, down 6 positions from where he started. And biggest gains actually is from Kerry Duplessis, up 4 positions, tied up with SES Days, up 4 positions. So, a couple of drivers taking some interesting means to it, but we got some side-by-side as Kerry Duplessis goes after Miller, couldn't quite get the pass at this stage of the game. He is trying everything he can to close up the fight. The drivers hoping that it will be enough. And oh, Darren Miller losing it. And unfortunately, that off track cost him a bit of time. Let's actually take a quick replay on that and see what happened. Let's go to Tim in the helicopter. So, over the curb, gets a tank slapper, slides around, just misses out the nose of that Ferrari. He's able to bring it back, but unfortunately has dropped him out of the fight to Kerry Duplessis. And that has brought him into the clutches of Tianis Burto, who's now closed down the distance to him. So this is going to be a bit of a fight coming into play for our drivers, hoping that they can gain a little bit more drive through the order. So everyone looking to get a little bit more run as they fight their way through. It's going to be a monumental battle ahead of all these drivers, hoping to get that little bit more drive, that little bit more pace as it stands. So who's going to climb out on top of the fight? Only time will tell. And as the strategies all start to fall into play, as we get down into the remaining minutes of the race, all our drivers will be looking back and thinking, what is going to be the movement forward? How they're going to go through. Big shout out. It does go out to the likes of Alan Patterson. Does send me the current result sheets as a PNG. Thank you very much. Good to have that on hand. Put it off to one side. I've got my Excel spreadsheet, but ultimately looking up and down and all around does make things a little bit tricky. So thank you very much, Alan. Do appreciate it, and it's good to see our team bosses even lending a hand. We're in for the race, though. Onto the back of SES Days. So one of our closest battlers out on circuit is turning into these two, 11th and 12th. They have both done their pit stop, so it is a run for position right down to the line. And our drivers having to figure out what's going to work for them, how they're going to battle their way through it, who's going to ultimately claw their way to victory on the running order of this race. As they make their way around the circuit. And it does look like SE having to go a little bit defensive, really putting his neck out a little bit to hold back the likes of Rian for the race. Tianis Burto onto the back of Miller. This is our battle for 7th and 8th position as it stands. So drivers hoping that they can get the leg up on one another. Hoping, will it be enough to move them into the fight? Who will be able to stand on the top of champions as they make their way through? And it does look like Miller is keeping far enough ahead at the moment to ensure that it's all smooth sailing on his part. With everything to play for, Tianus Buerta trying to close down the distance. He needs to make up some valuable points if he wants to close up to Kerry Duplessis in the championship standings. And then you've got the likes of Vesselwood, who's further down the order, who is lying 14th in the championship. He will have to try and make up some time as well. Vessel hoping that he can just make up some time for that little car to become a bit more of a viable threat. As Kerry Duplessis is out. Kerry Duplessis looks like he's run into a bit of a problem. Johan Krobler's there, but Kerry Duplessis nowhere to be found. I think he's just suffered a disconnect. Duplessis is out of the race with a disconnect, and that has once again changed up how this race is going to go. Miller and Buerta into the fray of things. They are fighting it out tooth and nail between them, but with Kerry out of the running, that is going to allow a bit of points to be added onto the table for our runners. And ultimately, this is going to make things a little bit more of a stress point for our drivers as they carve their way through. You can still see Miller on the charge, hoping to keep Tianus Buerta at bay. Tianus trying to go for the inside line as we jump on board. This is from the helmet, and he is really trying to get a little bit more drive to get a bit more pace underneath him, in hopes it will be enough. And oh, just outbraking himself ever so slightly into the corner. The drivers hanging on for dear life, all waiting, hoping, praying at this point, but looks like Buerta just couldn't get the braking in that was needed. And Miller now opening up that gap. SESA Syndrome for the race also still keeping each other in tow. But Kieran Patterson losing a little bit of the charge. He is now down to 11 seconds, where after the 12 seconds he had has now fallen away. And Russ going and giving a bit of support in there, saying unfortunately Harry landed up with a disconnect. He has reconnected though, but will have to serve that pit stop once again. Oh man, that's gutting. That is genuinely gutting, as he had served the pit stop. He got it done and dusted, and now unfortunately he's going to have to do it all over again, and that will throw him down the order into it. So our drivers going and taking, unfortunately, some mechanical problems, some internet connections being a little bit tricky for them all. Vesselwoda, he's gone off into the dirt, and let's actually take a look and see what happened to Vessel. Now I think once again the sausage curb that's been catching out quite a few of our drivers this evening was the game set match for the Merc. Over the curb, yeah, bounces the rear out, bottoms the car out, and it does bring the car to a bit of a stall. Unfortunately, that is how the race gets taken out. That's allowed Essie and the likes of the race to catch up, and he does move out the way. Blue flags coming into play. He's going to lift ever so slightly off the throttle, allow the drivers to come through, saying, come on guys, I'm losing a bit of time here. You need to get past. Going for the race, trying everything he can, but unfortunately Essie just having a bit of a game set match. And I've got to say, well done Real for going and actually saying thank you, using those hazard lights. Always good to see as it stands. But championship positioning, Carl de Witt, who's in second place, will be holding the championship. Kieran Patterson, who's leading the charge at this point, will hold second place. And our drivers needing to dig deep at this point. Johan Krobler, though, if he maintains his position, will be able to walk away with a third place. He will go up if he can keep ahead of SESA. So his eyes will be firmly fixated on SESA's for the battle for third place. They came in tied into this race, and now it is an outright charge for both of them to ensure that they can claw their way to victory. Still some close running between Essie and the likes of Round for the Race as they make their way through. This is now getting a stress point for our drivers. Who's going to be able to get themselves on top of the running? Who's going to be able to ensure that they stand on top? And with the penalties coming into play, that did change up the ball game. Tianus Buerta onto the back of Miller. Sean Benhams into the pits. Charles Darden gaining a position. So we're getting a mix of position changes as it stands for all our drivers. Everyone hoping to get a little bit more pace underneath them. Who's going to be able to stand on top? Who's going to be able to take the championship points, the final championship points for round 8 of season 1 of the debut run for the ZRC GT3 championship? With 21 minutes to go, ladies and gentlemen, we will be seeing an end to this race. We will be seeing our drivers giving it their absolute all to ensure that they stand on the top of the charts. And ultimately, our drivers will hope to get themselves into a running order that will work for them. Who will be able to claw their way to the top running victory? Well, we're about to find out with only so little time left, and it's actually kind of leaves you on a bit of a stress point at this. You know, who's going to be able to hold their ground? Who's going to be the cause to take it down to the wire? Tianus Buerta onto the back, and a drive-through penalty coming in for Thriller Miller. That will be for track limits exceeded. That is going to hurt his running in this race. So Darren Miller now suffering that penalty, will be having a bit of a problem. Oh man, that is seriously gutting. Tianus Buerta won't get into the fight there. Calder Witt with a drive-through penalty. Darren Miller with a drive-through penalty. And Vessel Wooder with a drive-through penalty. 3 drive-through penalties coming into play. And that is going to be critical for De Wit and Patterson. That is critical for the championship of who's going to be in the running order of this. My word, has this just changed the entire ball game for all our drivers. Michael Schultz, who is now disconnected, is out of the race. So he is out of the running for the race. He was on the charge to score some points, but the drive-through penalties will affect it. Jan van der Merwe, though, will be inheriting the second position. Daniel de Villiers will be taking a position. Carl de Wit still in the pits. Tianus Buerta going and making up some ground, as well as trying to get it sorted out. So Tianus Buerta, looks like a drive-through penalty cleared. Wow. Carl de Wit now needing to do a pit stop on top of that drive-through penalty. Oh boy. Oh boy. We're in for a race, ladies and gentlemen, and this is going to be an absolute cracker down to the running of who is going to be standing on top of the pack order at this point. But Carl de Wit has now had the entire situation changed for him, as he can possibly lose out the championship if he falls any further down out of 5th place. By the end of this race, he will lose 2nd place, because at the moment he will finish on 299 points. Kieran Patterson, as we see on screen, will be finishing up on 277 points. So Kieran's got to keep a good bit of momentum here. One person who is gaining a position is Johan Krobler, as SES Hayes is down the pack And that means that Jan will be taking the 3rd place spot as it stands. So, oh man, it leaves you guessing. It leaves you wondering. It leaves everyone chomping at the bit of who's going to be able to take it down to the victory. Darren Miller, who's lying currently 5th in the championship, will maintain his championship spacing. If he carries on where he is, he still needs to do a pit stop. So we have got currently 6 cars needing to do a pit stop towards the end of this race. SESA's onto the back of Van der Race, needs to gain these valuable points to ensure that he holds his position, because as it stands, he will finish up on 243 points, while Jan Krobler is on 249 points. So every position is key for SESA's. I'm glad I've got a running order of live points as it stands in front of me. Did a little bit of math in the background in hopes that I could see this. And honestly, oh boy, I'm not sure whether it was a good thing to do, because it now has us chomping at the bit of who's going to stand on top of the order, who's going to be able to stand on the top runnings of this race. Johan Krobler on the charge. Kieran Patterson has now opened up a 19-second gap, going 20-second gap to the likes of Van Merwe, who is in 2nd place as it stands. Daniel de Villiers currently in 3rd. Tianus Buerta in 4th place. Carl de Witt in 5th. Johan Krobler in 6th. 7th is Darren Miller. Charles Darden in 8th. 9th is Rian van der Race. SESA, Sean Bidham, Mark Henneberry, Wessel Woda, and Harry Duplessis as they make their way around. We've had one retirement, unfortunately, in this race, but it has left the championship in a bit of a hot and bother at this point, because let me take you through this. Carl de Witt will be, if he stays where he is, will hold 1st. Kieran Patterson will hold 2nd. Johan Krobler will move up into 3rd. SESA's will go down into 4th place. Darren Miller will hold 5th. Johan van der Merwe will hold 6th. Daniel de Villiers will hold 7th. Michael Schultz will hold 8th despite being out of the race. Charles Dalton will hold 9th position. Tianus Buerta will hold 10th. You got Sean Benham will hold the 11th position. Tianus Buerta has a lot to gain. He'll gain 5 positions. He's currently in 21st. He'll finish in 10th in the championship running if he stays at the pace. So he will go up 5. Sean Benham will go up 1. He's currently down the order. So he's 12th in the championship. He'll move up into 11th. Kerry Duplessis will go into 12th. Wessel Woda will also go up 1. Mark Hanbury will go up 2 positions. Rian van der Race will go down 1 position. If this stands. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls out there in the chat, out there in the grandstands, I know you guys are chomping at the bit. You're taking a look at this, and lots of drivers saying, hey, this is it. This is our mainstay race. Who is going to be clawing their way out to victory? And well, we've got a bit of a change-up for the pressure coming in. Our 3rd place is separated by just a couple of points. And what Essie needs to do is valuably gain time. Carl de Witt needing to serve his served his drive-through. Now will need to gain a bit of time on the pit stop, but that will have knocked him down the order. Kieran Patterson is on a charge here. So, if Carl de Witt loses 3 or 4 positions, Kieran Patterson will take the championship. That's what it's at, ladies and gentlemen. If Carl de Witt is not able to cross that line in his current position, if he goes down 3 positions, he's out of the championship. He will get 2nd place in the championship. Kieran Patterson will walk away with the win. One drive-through changed the entire scope of it. And remember, a pit stop is 29 seconds. It's 29 seconds. They've got a gap of 22 seconds to Johan Krobler and 2.5 seconds to Darren Miller. But Calderwood cannot afford any time loss. Tianus Buerta, though, has everything to gain. He needs to hold on to this position to go up 5 positions in the overall championship. I mean, that is just monumental climb, so there is no backing down from the fight. Everyone has everything to gain or lose in this championship right here for round 8 of the ZRC Championship GT3 Season 1, the debut season, and this is what we're sitting at. This is how it's going to go. Tianus Buerta around the outside, Calderwood getting the pass. And looks like Buerta going to pull into the pit, so he's going to get his pit stop done and dusted to try and keep ahead of the likes of Krobler, who, no, I think Krobler will take a easy pass there. Charles Darden is also going to have a bit of a run there, so Tianus Buerta is going to fall down the order, and that will also affect his championship standings. This is going to be a nail-biting run to it all. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls out there in the grandstands, who are you supporting? Are you on the edge of your seats? Are you sitting there frantically with your calculators like I am and watching the racing at hand as we see our two? We've got the GSR Racing, Kerry Duplessis and Vessel Wooder going and fighting it out. They're 13th and 14th currently out on the circuit. This is going to be a run, and I see even Russ going, so Carl needs to pit with 3 drivers behind in reach for position. So that's it. Calderwood, if he loses 3 positions, 3 or 4 positions, he's out. That's it, done. He's lost the championship on the final race. Oh boy, oh boy. This is what we love to see. A championship coming down to Russian roulette. You made the mistake. It can cost you everything. Daniel de Villiers into the pits. He is now trying to get himself sorted. He's 7th in the championship and currently 3rd. His goal at this point will to be get out and get ahead of Calderwood as quick as possible. Radio messages will be frantic. Johan Krobler is also looking to get past. He's trying to move his way up through the order to ensure he maintains a good gap to the likes of ACS Days, who will lose out 3rd position in the series if he doesn't get the hammer down at this point. Charles Darden has got a lot to gain as well. He won't move up in the championship points as it stands, but every position is critical on his run because Michael Schultz has retired out of the race, and in his current position he will finish up on 172 points while Michael Schultz will be on 174. But, and this is a big but, if Charles Jordan gets this position, he will move up and go and leapfrog ahead of Michael Schultz. So with Michael retiring out of the race, it has changed the entire spectrum of what they can do. Kieran Patterson with 30 laps in, 8 minutes to go and 8 minutes and 42 seconds left in this race, has now got the championship in his hands, and he is relying on Johan van der Merwe, Calderwood, Daniel de Villiers, for Calderwood to lose out positions to Daniel de Villiers, Johan Krobler, Darren Miller, Charles Darden. He is relying on these drivers to get ahead. And what Calderwood needs to do, he's 20 seconds, he's 19 seconds ahead of Daniel de Villiers. So Daniel de Villiers needs to get the hammer down to ensure he can leapfrog ahead of Calderwood and start shoving those points down as quick as he can. And Johan Krobler, who is not too far behind, is trying to make up points in his own championship, can also leapfrog this and allow for a fight. Oh my heavens, this is going to be it. This may land up in a win or a loss for a lot of these drivers, I mean, anything can happen. I mean, it's just, oh boy, we're in for this. Sean Benham, he's up 2 positions and from his running, and he's hoping to gain a little bit of time. Everyone hoping that the final tallies is going to play into their favor. But when you are running in a championship where you're relying on the rest of the field to go and make it out, this is going to be it. This is going to be close. Carl de Wit's championship hopes is in the hands of the grid. Kieran Patterson's championship win is in the hands of the grid. Both drivers needing to do their final pit stop. Darren Miller needing to do his final pit stop. Everyone else has done their pit stop. So it is Johan van der Merwe, Kieran Patterson, Carl de Wit, and Darren Miller that need to pit. Everyone else has done it. 6 minutes and 34 seconds to go. And with a live tally that I've got showing me the points, this is going to be a monumental run for our drivers. This is a make it or break it opportunity for our drivers. Kieran Patterson putting in those fast lap times, dialing it in, a 1:31.7, not quite his fastest lap time, a 1:31.4, but is starting to step up the pace to ensure that he can put a roughly 26 seconds over Johan van der Merwe. Carl de Wit trying to close down. He is 18 seconds behind second place, and now 22 seconds behind him is Daniel de Villiers. Johan Krobler immediately onto the back of him, 1.8 seconds in this fight, and Darren Miller 4.8 seconds behind him, but still needs to pit. Charles Darden, though, who outbrakes himself, did lose a bit of time there. Will have to try and figure out what's going to work for him as they do make a bit of time. Yellow flags did come up for Thierry Duplessis. This was a little bit early on for our GSR Racing Porsche. Not Porsche, Ferrari. Man, oh man, am I going to be shot dead by the Italians and the Germans for that one. But our Ferrari 296 going a little bit slow as Vessel Werder is starting to make up a bit of ground, and he does give the position back to Vessel, saying there we go. Darren Miller now into the pits. He is serving his pit stop, trying to get it out of the way as quick as he can. Krobler onto the back of Daniel de Villiers. So the hitman now has got Krobler onto the back of him. Bago trying to make up some ground. The two rivals meeting each other out on circuit once again. Both were a splash and dash in the pits. Both will be running on low fuel at this point to ensure that they can get across a line ahead of the run. And with them being within a second of one another, if Carl de Wit comes into pits, this is going to be it. Total pit time is with 1 litre. Russ actually calculating it is 34 seconds. Thank you, Russ, for giving us a bit of insight there. So 34 seconds is going to be it. Johan van der Merwe in the pits, so he's getting it done. Carl de Wit will need to try and stand on the gas here. This is the championship coming down to the wire, with everyone clamoring, waiting, seeing who's going to be able to make their way to the victory at this point. Who's going to close down? Johan Krobler runs out a little bit wide, trying to utilize the slipstream of Daniel de Villiers, who was all set up in the Porsche through the final corner. Charles Darden in the background. You can see the Project Vapor Ferrari trying to close down on these two. 3 minutes and 24 seconds to go. And Carl de Wit now up into second place. Miller, who is down the order, will need to get that final pit stop done and dusted. And I think he did actually pit. No, it was a drive-through penalty. He's done 2 drive-through penalties. So Miller now needs to get that pit stop done and dusted, because that's actually hurting his run in the championship. Was gaining a lot of ground. But Krobler, if he can get ahead of de Villiers, he will lock in 3rd in the championship for sure, away from SESAs. He will steal it on it. Oh man, Alan Patterson saying Miller's pit stop didn't count. And that tells me he wasn't correctly lined up in the box and they jacked the car up, had to move it, then put it down and jack it back up again. And that's how that happened. So unfortunately, not a run for that he wants to do there. So Kieran Patterson coming out of the pits, Calderwood coming into the pits. Johan van der Merwe will stand on the gas as he makes his way around. Daniel de Villiers and Johan Krobler. So Calderwood is going to lose a running on the order here. He's going to drop into 5th position. That will still give him a top 5 running and manage to hold on to it. So if he gets down into 6th place, if Charles Darden can be the make or break point for him. Oh my heavens. This is now coming a little bit too close for comfort for Calderwood. Run for the race coming across the line. Calderwood now leaving the pits and has the likes of SESAs onto the back of him. Essie needs to actually go and get a few points as well. So he's going to try and lock it up on the inside. Just couldn't get it all hooked in as they march their way through. Calderwood getting pushed off the line. The two of them not having an easy run. But back up for 3rd place in the race. It is Johan Krobler and Daniel de Villiers. Daniel the Hitman de Villiers dealing with Vega Krobler, who is from the Hybrid Racing team. And the Hybrid Racing team, new colors, sporting the Tyrrell colors, is now having a huge opportunity here to take a championship run for their time. Leader is on the final lap, so Kieran Patterson giving it everything he's got. Championship hopes rely in Calderwood losing out the run on this. But if Calderwood stays where he is, he will maintain the championship. Not by much, though. If Essie gets past him, that can be it. If Calderwood makes any mistakes, he will lose out the championship in the run. This is come down to it. A monumental run for our drivers. Everyone hanging on. De Villiers really keeping ahead of Krobler. A little bit of contact between the two, but nothing that has been detrimental to them as yet, which is always a great thing to see. The drivers able to keep it clean. 35 laps around Valencia, done by our running pack. Kieran Patterson, though, looking to take the final checkered flag for Season 1 of the ZRC GT3 Championship and has put in a monumental run. Despite having the odds against him, fought it out to go and take the win here today with a dominating victory of 25 seconds. Kieran Patterson finishing up 1st place for round 8, and as it stands will be finishing up in 2nd place in the championship. Johan van der Merwe will be taking 2nd place for the race, with Daniel de Villiers taking 3rd as it stands. So our drivers making their last-ditch effort to get across the line. But well done goes to Daniel de Villiers taking 3rd place. Johan Krobler finishing up in 4th. Charles Darden in 5th place. Round for the race coming across the line in 6th place. 7th going to Calderwood. SESA's in 8th position. 9th Sean Benham along with Tennis Porter, Mark Hennebury, Darren Miller in 12th, 13th. Vessel Wooder has got Kerry Duplessis chasing him down. Those two are going to take it down to the wire. Around the final corner, the GSR team will be coming across the line and finishing up the race right here at Valencia. What a run. Well done to all the drivers. Well done to all the teams. Everyone happy with that. Season 1 done, dusted, complete, game over. That's all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. And we are overs, cadovers in this one. Wow, wow, wow. I mean, let's head back to the commentary box. Lots of people will be asking a million questions on this Whew, got to catch my breath. That final little bit, that final run to the line, nail biting, and ultimately drivers having to figure out what works for them to ensure that they can stand on the top pedestals for the race. But what a monumental run had by all the drivers, and wow. I mean, let's take a look there. Kieran Patterson taking the ultimate win and taking the finale. I mean, wow. Let's head over to Anushka, get her side of the story. Anushka, well, race done and dusted on my side, and I'm sure you've had a nail-biting run as well for your race. But championships finally decided by it. How was the race at Valencia for our programs that did a phenomenal run? Okay, it seems like Anushka a little bit busy, so we will get back to her a little bit later. But let's bring in our drivers, and let's start off with our third place, Daniel De Villiers taking third place. Mr. De Villiers, welcome to the commentary box. Third place in the race, and also taking 7th in the championship for season 1 of the ZRC GT3 championship. How are you feeling, buddy? I mean, what a race on your part, in the final couple of laps, nail biting with Johan Krobler constantly on your tail.
Yeah, Stephen. I didn't start the race good. I missed the first race, but yeah, I'm glad to end on the podium for the last race and keep my team proud.
Well, I mean, 7th place, finishing up 7th in the final standings on 204 points. That has been quite a jump for you, and considering you've had that difficult times. But talk us through the race. I mean, side-by-side battles that we had out there wasn't an easy thing. You had to really dig deep and figure out how to make that Porsche as wide as a Bentley in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, no, we had a plan. The plan was if I had to qualify third and we keep on the inside of the track, so Kieran can maybe just block Carl there so I can get through, and well, that plan executes perfectly. I did qualify in third place with a mega quali lap from him, my personal best. And yeah, I had to defend to get Kieran get maximized points as possible, but in the end it just wasn't enough for him to grab the championship.
I mean, you put in a massive effort there, but if you had to take the championship as a total, how do you feel about it? I mean, what's your thoughts taking a look back at the ZRC championship and the standout moments for you for season 1?
Yeah, well, mistakes were made during the championship at unnecessary tracks. And there's also a win in the bag this season for me on Silverstone. Sorry, Kieran. And yeah, I don't know. It's mistakes that we made. We just have to learn from it and keep moving forward.
Absolutely amazing stuff. Well done, Mr. De Villiers, on a phenomenal effort. Third place in the final round. And we look forward to seeing you back next season for some more GT3 racing, and congratulations to the PWSR team. Glad to see that the new changes worked out well.
Yeah, it works, But yeah, I just want to say thank you to you guys, you, SC, Russ, everyone that organized the season and everything, all the competitors the season in the Pro-Am and so on. Well done to everyone, and let's keep it going, man.
Absolutely.
And also mainly, to Alan Patterson. Thank you, Alan.
You got to always thank the boss,
Yeah. I have
to. You got to thank the boss, especially after the win. It's kind of the rules of the road. Okay, well, good to have you, Mr. Villiers. Third place, congratulations, and well done.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, we're going to bring in Anushka. Anushka, we just had a chat with Daniel, the Hitman De Villiers, finishing up in third place for the pros. We're going to bring in second place Johan van der Merwe, who got a phenomenal run out there. Mr. van der Merwe, welcome to the commentary box with Anushka and myself, Stephen Koenig. But what a run for you. Second place with that drive-through penalty, doing a bit of a change-up for you, and suddenly you standing on the top spots of the podium.
Hi, Stephen. Hi, Anushka. Yeah, I was definitely not expecting that. Trying to cover for Cole after we got past Daniel eventually, because he made it a bit Perez 2.0 for us. But yeah, it was an awesome race. Enjoyed it really much. Just trying to not get a drive through. But yeah, it was actually very fun.
Well, I mean, you got Jan for the. I mean, you finished sixth in the championship, just ahead of Daniel. You finished up on 232 points ahead of Daniel's 204 points. So you definitely put the spacing there. What's your look back at the championship? What's the standout moments for you?
Standout moments for us, or for me myself. I got at least a few podium finishes, so which is great. I think just for all the guys who joined us throughout the season, some of them left and some of them came back. But I think it was a very successful season for us, and for season one, ending in such a amount of drivers joining us, and the fun we had. I think that's my high point for the season, is just all the guys who joined, the clean racing, the talks afterwards, everyone just pulling together and making this happen. So big congratulations to all the ZRC guys for making this possible, and thanks to you guys as well for commentating. Stephen, you and the pro, Anishka on the prams. We really enjoyed every single stream. I'll go watch it afterwards, and it's just amazing to see everyone just having fun.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you very much for being with us, and we look forward to seeing you back out on the circuit once again. And well, we're going to bring in a guy that managed to just get ahead of you this time around. Let's see, maybe if season 2 will be a little bit different for you, Mr. Van der Merwe.
Thanks, everyone, and enjoy your evening. Cheers.
Cheerio. All right, bringing in Kieran Patterson. I mean, Kieran Patterson, well done on the race, taking the final checkered flag, but unfortunately, just not having it work in your favor. You took the fight. You finished it first, but unfortunately, Caldervit going and finishing it within the points. But you took the final checkered flag. You're getting second place in the championship. And after everything that's gone on, where you've missed out races, you had those disconnects, still second place in the championship. That's got to be smiling moments for you.
Yeah, happy to take the win. It's rather unfortunate not to win the whole championship itself, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. You know, 1 or 2 races that just don't go your way due to a technical failure or whatever the case is, and consistency wins it at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, it's been a monumental thing to just watch you go out in racing. You stuck a 25-second gap between yourself and second place. I mean, that is just a monumental drive. No one can take that away from you. Where did you find the pace, especially with this drive?
You know, Valencia's kind of become one of those tracks that kind of just fits your style, or you just become one to it. You know what I mean? So yeah, Valencia and myself, we're very comfortable with one another. Whether it's a Ferrari or a McLaren here, the main 2 cars that I've driven, it's kind of the car just goes. It just feels like it's on glue. So I wasn't pushed a little, obviously, in the beginning of the race, just to try and get a gap, as the plan was to get Daniel into P2 and kind of hold them up, and I just drive away. So yeah, the plan worked to a T. And yeah, then after that, it was just about matching their lap times every lap after that.
So I'm going to ask the very tricky question of, you know, what was your standout moment? What was the moment that you've gone and said, this was what I wanted in the championship, the race that you feel rather happy with?
This race itself was obviously a great one to finish on. The race at Watkins Glen with Vincent Null, that was, I mean, we were within a second for the entire race. That was epic. Pulling the rabbit out of the hat at Nürburgring was unreal. But as a whole, I think it was just a nice general championship. No one moment that really stood out. But at the end of the day, very happy for Carl to win it. So well done to him.
Absolutely tremendous stuff. And Kieran, thank you once again. I look forward to seeing what's next for the PWSR team. What's next for Kieran Patterson to take the fight to the sharp end of the field. And look forward to seeing more of your previous challengers come and give you a good run for the money, because I'm sure you're looking forward to getting your elbows out once again after having it at Watkins Glen, and also the rabbit, as you said, pulling the rabbit out of the hat.
Yeah, thanks very much. Looking forward to the rest of the other series that we're in, and looking forward to ZRC's Bathurst 1000 as well. I think that'll be a good one.
It's going to be an incredible one, and definitely going to be a challenging one, that's for certain. Thank you very much, Kieran Patterson of PWSR. I mean, Anushka, we're going through a couple of drivers here, and it's turning into amazing stuff. We just went through first, second, and third of our round 8. The championship came down to the final hour for our pros. It's just monumental, but it looks like the Pro-Ams also had a bit of fun out there with some very, very close racing to the sharp end of the order. Do you think that the drivers had to push themselves out of their comfort zone right here at Valencia for round 8, the final round of the ZRC GT3 championship?
Yes, for sure, they had to. It was great fun. The start was a bit rocky, but it was a good race.
Well, with that being said, let's bring in third place of our Pro-Ams, and that goes to Jan Verveers. Mr. Verveers, welcome to the commentary box. Welcome once again to, we get to chat to one another, and getting third place in the race. How are you feeling with that one?
Yes, I'm very stoked. Didn't expect to be third, but Valencia just worked with a new car, so I sold the Ferrari, got a McLaren, and it seems to work. It was movie lekker, yeah.
You see the 296 is a good looking car, but it doesn't ring all the bells. But I mean, the race out there, very difficult, very warm track temperatures, the drivers really pushing one another. You were also in a fight for the championship. How are you feeling after, now that it's all done, settled, done, dusted, and that's all she wrote for season 1?
I don't think I'm in the championship. I missed a lot of races in the beginning, and then I did a car swap from the Ferrari, so I lost some points. But yeah, I was lucky in the beginning. There was a few oaks that got together on the start, and I just got through them clean. So yeah, I was lucky on this race. But yeah, very happy with the result.
Just putting your head down, and that's all she wrote.
That's it. I spoke to Sava and VTNL in the waiting room, and they were saying, yes, I had too much pace. But I couldn't drive with a full car, so I started a 50-50 fuel load. So I had to take like 46 liters, no tires. But yeah, it worked. So I could keep the pace up, and they were running with full cars in the beginning. So I just kept up. That was what I did.
Well, with it all done and dusted now, season 2 on the horizon, are you looking forward to it? Are you planning to bring the McLaren in once again for a full-on fight, or is there thoughts of maybe something different heading into season 2?
No, I'll stick with the McLaren, and then try and do the full season. I missed a lot of races, so but yeah, for season 2, I'll be there. Hopefully, I can do well.
Oh, absolutely tremendous stuff, and I look forward to seeing you out on the circuit once again. Thank you very much for joining us here in the commentary box, and well done on that third
And
place.
thanks to you guys and for all your efforts and everything behind the scenes, and Zodiac guys and Amal, very nice. Awesome race. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, absolutely amazing to hear it from there, Anushka. And I mean, that's Verveers going and reiterating what you said, that the start becoming a very tricky one for a lot of the drivers to try and battle their way out of it. But let's bring in second place for round 8 of our Pro-Ams, and that goes to Vietia Buerta, which I think you know rather well. And Anushka, I think you can do the interview with Vietia on scoring second place. Vietia, welcome to the commentary box, but this time I'm putting you in the hot seat properly because we're going to let Anushka go and give a little bit of an interview, considering she knows, well, how much you were talking in the background.
Sorry, my baby.
The only thing I could really hear in the background was something about his tires. So, what problems were there with the tires?
I had my pressures incorrect. So from lap 7, I was sliding all around up to about lap 13, and then it came back. The sliding obviously got the temperature back up a bit, and it went a little bit better. But yeah, what a race!
Second place is no easy feat, and I believe the start was always a rather tricky one for everyone. What's your highlight moment from season 1 of the ZRC GT3 Championship? Is there a special moment that you can, if you could take a photo of it and frame it? Yes.
Watkins Glen. First, I think it was the first race.
Yes.
Lap 3, I had it. Lap 3, I was three seconds ahead, and I disconnected.
Okay, so that's the highlight moment.
That almost cost me a new monitor.
Well, at least you're honest. Generally guys keep calm, but at least you say you're being honest on that one.
Nee, ek was nar geweest.
Well, Vietia, thank you very much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you in season 2. A monumental race. You were 9th in the championship, coming into it 1 point behind Ruan Kleinlines, and obviously the second place will move you up through the order. So we're looking forward to seeing the final results of the race, well, of the season for our pro-ams. But anything from your side that you want to?
I just want to thank you guys. Obviously, with Anushka starting to stream now, it being her first season. I sort of get to know what goes on behind the scenes and how much effort goes into it. Obviously, trying to help her to get along with it and setting up and all that. Hopefully, season 2 will go a little bit better. We lost connection in a few ones, but baby Stephen, well done, you guys. Obviously, I see the effort that goes into it.
Thank you very, very much.
Thanks.
And thank you very much, Vietia. Now you got to go make a cup of coffee or a cappuccino for Anushka. How's that one?
Yeah, it's my turn tonight, I believe.
Yeah, that's it. It's a Wednesday, so it's your turn.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right, so Vietia out of the commentary booth. We're going to bring in our first place, and that is going to be Sava. Savov, welcome to the commentary box, and welcome to the race. What a race on your part, getting first place, scoring some championship points. Chris not having the easiest of races down, so that would jump you up into second place on my rough math. So you would be second in the championship for our GT3, for the AM championship for season 1 of the ZRC GT3 championship. How's that feel? You've managed to get second on the last run, the last round, and that's it. You've put yourself into the big standings.
Thank you, Stephen and Anushka. Yeah, awesome to win a race, first one of the season. Firstly, I just want to congratulate Wilfred on his win. Coming into this race, I knew it's going to be a close 3-way battle to win the championship, and unfortunately for Chris, he had a bit of contact with me and took himself out the race. Very unfortunate, but it is what it is. Super ecstatic, happy with the results. Yeah.
If you had to take a highlight moment out of the entire season, what will it be for you?
Wet Imola.
Wet Imola.
Yeah, super challenging.
So that was the highlight moment.
Yeah, it was quite an awesome race, just managing the pressure, managing the focus, managing the car, keeping it between the lines. It was really awesome to experience that, if I can put it that way.
It's absolutely incredible, and we really look forward to seeing you in season 2. Is there anything you'd like to say to everyone out there watching this evening and watching in the future of you taking the final checkered flag for season 1?
Obviously, just want to shout out to my wife, always my biggest supporter. And just shout out to all the guys in AM. I feel we had an awesome team or field this season. The battles were great. The driving was very clean. Yeah, just super enjoyable season.
Absolutely incredible stuff, and well done once again on taking the final checkered flag, getting that win that eluded you for so long. You finally got the win.
Thank you so much, and thanks to you guys for broadcasting these events. It really makes it special.
Thank you very much, Sava. Well done once again. We look forward to seeing you heading into the next races with season 2 coming up, and also the Bathurst 1000 right here on ZRC.
Yes. Awesomeness. Cheers, guys.
Cheerio, Sava. All right, Anushka, the time we've all been waiting for. We're going to bring in the winners of the championship. So we're going to kick it off with our winner of our AM championship, and that goes to Wilfred Robertson. Wilfred Robertson, congratulations. You are officially the Zodiac Racing Community GT3 Championship Season 1 of the AM division. You are the champion. You've taken it, and it was a fight right to the end of the race.
Yeah, I got lucky. I knew I had to push for third. I just couldn't even get a nice, decent quali lap down. Unfortunately, Stalls had a huge accident in the first lap, first corner. I didn't realize it was him until like later in the race. And then, yeah, just kept pushing, and I actually ended up 4th in this race. That was quite a fight.
Well, you finished up 4th, but you did enough to put yourself right into the top of the charts. You put yourself into first place. I mean, you've taken the championship win, the debut season, you've taken the AM. I'm just, what's your thoughts on this?
I'm flabbergasted. I have nothing to say. It's a shock, to be honest with you. I think I checked the points, and I think it's like a 2-point difference, to be honest with you. A 2-point difference. You know how close that is.
That's
So, yeah.
that's cutting your teeth. But you walked away with the gold. I mean, that's it. You've done it. You've taken it now to shoot for pro.
Oh, well, let's go. When do we start?
Well, keep an eye on the social media because it's going to be starting soon. But you got the Bathurst 1000 coming up. But is there anything you would like to say to all the spectators out there who are going and watching tonight and in the future? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please, everyone, take your seats. Give a massive round of applause to Wilfred Robertson taking the ZRC GT3 Championship for the AM division of Season 1. The crown is yours, and you are free to address your people.
Oh, well, thank you very much, and thanks for all the supporters. Come and support us still, and if you are trying to get into this, just get into this. This is so much fun. I had a blast in this season, and I'm promising you the next season is going to be just as fun. So, yeah, and thanks to all the other drivers. It was really, really fun to be driving with them. And I think we had mutual respect on the track. It was awesome to see. So, yeah, that's it. Great community. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely incredible stuff. Thank you very much, Wilfred. And please share this with everyone. And let's drum up some people to see what you have managed to accomplish. And you'll be the only person that would have won the Season 1 in the AM category for the future. That's it. You've won it. No one else can replicate it.
Great. Thank you very much.
Well done. Now, moving in, I mean, you could hear the excitement in their voice, that like proud moment of getting told he's a champion for the AMs. It's just absolutely amazing. Anushka, I don't know about you. I'm smiling ear to ear just listening to that.
Yeah, me too. Like you said, the guys had good racing throughout the whole season, and they do have that mutual respect for one another. So it's a good one.
All right, well, let's bring in our second final interview, because we're going to interview the promoter after this. But let's bring in our pro champion for the ZRC GT3 Championship Season 1. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together for the likes of Caldervit taking the championship for the pros, the ZRC GT3 Championship Season 1 Pro Division. You've won the championship. You've got the crown. How are you feeling considering the race? If you fell out of where you finished, if you fell into 7th position, Kieran Patterson would have taken the championship. You landed up with a drive-through penalty. You landed up having to pit again, and just by the skin of your teeth getting the win. I mean, Carl, that is a monumental run on your part.
Yeah, no, like Stephen, that was that was a stressful situation I was in there. I mean, yeah, I guess the odds even out a bit with Kieran getting his drive through last week and me getting my drive through this week. So it was interesting. Honestly, thought I wouldn't drop back that far as I did, but hey, I'm very happy to still be the champion. And yeah, I mean, it's an amazing feeling that being a rookie, coming in a rookie season and winning the championship. I feel very honored, and to race against the best racers in South Africa, it was amazing. And the fight with Daniel de Villiers, yes, that was best fighting I've ever had, and it was amazing.
If you could take a highlight moment out of the entire championship, what will it be for you?
I think it would be my last race. I think I did a very good job at keeping it clean, doing very consistent laps, and getting the win at the end of the day. In the wet, I really like the wet, so I think probably last week. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely monumental run on your part. Congratulations on the win. For everyone that's watching it now and watching it in the future, for you, you get to wear the crown for the Pro Division for the ZRC GT3 Championship Season 1. You can now address your people, give a shout out. You're allowed to challenge people out there. The microphone is yours. Just remember to keep it PG-13.
Awesome. Thanks, Stephen. Yeah, just thanks to all the commentators, Stephen, you and Anushka. You guys did a great job this season. And yeah, it's been very entertaining watching the streams afterwards. And to all the team, you guys are amazing. I can't wait for Season 2. I can't promise anything for Season 2. I'll try bring on the title defense, but it's going to be tricky. I can think that a lot of people will be hungry. So for anyone wanting the title, you guys can bring your best shot. I'll see you guys in my mirror. So yeah.
Absolutely amazing stuff. Thank you very much, Carl. Glad to have you, and congrats on the win.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, that was Carl de Witte, and our final interview of the evening has to be with the promoter himself, the brainchild of it all. Does have to bring in SES. Essie, welcome to the commentary box. You've been avoiding us like no tomorrow, but now Anushka and I have we've gagged you, we've tied you, we thrown you in the boot and drove you into the box. Season 1 done and dusted. 2 new champions coming in, Wilfred Robertson and the likes of Carl de Witte. A fight that came down to the final race to say who came out to be the champion. Season 1 done and dusted. A brainchild that was spoken about over late nights you and I have had. It's now done. It's dusted. It's completed. ZRC has completed their first GT3 championship. And it's, with assistance from ACC, GT Server Manager, Stinger, radar detection, and also with the likes of being part of Motorsport South Africa. How do you feel? Must be a massive moment.
Yeah, actually, Stephen, it does feel a bit surreal, but I'm overall so very happy and proud of everyone who joined us and wanted to be part of this journey. I do think that we proved that you can have a successful, safe, competitive, respectful series where you have some good racing and that everybody can have fun in the same time. So I have to first of all say thank you to all the drivers that participated, and then to all the supporting staff, especially you, Stephen and Anushka, for bringing this to the rest of the world, basically, whoever wants to tune in. And I think without that window into our little world, it would be a very dull affair. So you bring that flair and that exposure, and I can't be more happy. So big thank you from all of us to you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Essie. Anushka, anything you want to ask Essie while he's around? I mean, I'm sure that there's something you would like to say from your side.
I'd just like to say thank you for the opportunity that you guys have given me. And
Thank you,
it was a
Anushka.
bit of a learning curve this season, but next
We
season,
all learned.
next season we'll just do better.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was an exceptional learning experience for us as well. I mean, getting a league off the ground, you have to build on a solid foundation, and then now you have to take the lessons learned and apply it and make the necessary changes, adapt it so that you can move forward for the next seasons. And I think it'll only get better from here on in. And thank you, Anushka and Stephen, and everyone who made it possible. We do have big things planned for season 2. So we will have about a 3 or 4 week off period in which we'll debrief and see where we can improve, what we can do less, what we can do more, to make sure that season 2 is even better than season 1. But there are some big plans from our side to make it as competitive and interesting as possible. So don't go anywhere. Don't stay tuned for all that information to follow.
Well, you know, you talked about having a bit of a window here, and there's actually a spectator I do want to point out, and that's Jake Malham, who says this was his first race watching, and he's going to be following in future. So Jake, shout out to you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you for that, and I hope you really had a lot of fun. And feel free, if you want to come join the track, just go and look in the description below to join our Discord and be a part of it. There's also some learning days as well. But Essie, I just want to give a bit of context here. You flew from Johannesburg back down to your side of the world, out in the Eastern Cape, if I'm correct in saying?
West Coast.
West Coast,
of
okay,
the
so
Western Cape, yeah.
All right, so you flew from Johannesburg to the West Coast today, climbed in the rig.
Yeah, this afternoon, yeah.
All right, climbed in the rig. You didn't get your lap in qualifying. You were running third in the championship. But
yeah,
I'm going to give you heartbreaking news.
Yeah, I lost it, I know.
You lost third place.
Yeah, no, that's fine. No, you know, it's been a very rough week this week. Like you know, I was in Pretoria this week for some work stuff. Yeah, I only flew back this afternoon. It's 43 degrees Celsius when I arrived home. Yeah, and then I had some urgent work to tend to for my bosses. So that kept me from. I just requested 5 minutes just to do the driver's briefing, and then was back to work. And I was actually glad that I could even make it into the service. So yeah, I didn't really have any time to. Tonight was a true arrive and drive. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. Pity that I lost third place, but I mean, to lose it to somebody like Bago, I mean, he's an old dog, so I don't feel too bad about it. There's so much to be grateful for and glad about that. That doesn't bother me.
So lots to come in the future. And talking about what's to come in the future, the racing isn't over just as yet. Our season 1 has concluded, but we do have something coming up, and that is our ZRC Bathurst 1000 on the 10th of March 2024. Make sure that you sign up. Entry still open. Head over to SimGP, look up the Zodiac racing community to be a part of that. And with it having a 5,000 Rand prize pool coming into the play, it really is going to be something for everyone to attend, a must attend, especially around Bathurst. I mean, Essie, you and I did 12 hours around this circuit with the Cameron de Bastos.
Yep.
But we did it on iRacing. We get to see it on ACC. A Bathurst 1000 is challenging, and the competitive field of all the entries so far means that first place is up for grabs between 14 different teams from what I've just seen in practice alone. So
Yeah, I think it's going to be an awesome event. Just to remind everyone, there can only be 50 cars. So if you're still in two minds whether you should enter, you better get cracking, because there will only be one server with 50 cars, so get your teams in. And I mean, like you said, we did the 12-hour Bathurst, and endurance racing is something different than sprint racing. It's an unbelievable, like, backstage atmosphere, encouraging and supporting your fellow drivers of your car, and it's an awesome experience. So even for the guys that are new to the thing, I would recommend they get into a seat, get another guy or two together, and enter a car. It's an unbelievable experience to do that.
So, ladies and gentlemen, with also that prize pool of 5,000 Rand, and we will be announcing the sponsor as well, joining into it, someone from the music industry, not even from the normal gaming industry, but you want to keep an eye out for it. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for joining us. Anushka, any last things you want to say to our spectators out there that have gone and listened to us over the course of this 8 rounds for Season 1 of the ZRC GT3 Championship?
Stephen, the only thing I'd like to say is do all the thingies, subscribe to our YouTube channels, like the videos if you like the videos, and share it with your friends as well.
Thanks, Anushka.
That's absolutely, I'm echoing that one. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon, leave a like as well. Let us know in the comments, what was your highlight, what was your favorite moment from the season right here at ZRC, and we will look forward to seeing you at the Bathurst 1000, but also we look forward to seeing you for Season 2. Entries will be opening up soon, so keep an eye out on our social media. Join into the Discord, be a part of all the fun, lots to come right here at ZRC. And like always, I'm going to say it again, but for the final time for Season 1, I've got goosebumps already. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody.